Coming up right now, we've got our very, very exciting panel discussion that will put the focus on turning insights into action with advanced analytics. Turning insights into action with advanced analytics. It's my privilege and pleasure to introduce and invite our distinguished panel on stage. He is head e-commerce at Apparel. Please welcome on stage Balaji Huskur. Come on, can we have some energy in this room? The energy that you give them will translate into the panel discussion and make it that much more invigorating and exciting. Please welcome the head e-commerce apparel group India Private Limited, Akash Rambabu. He is country head Newland AIDC. A warm welcome to JP Mishra. He is head IT Safari Industries India Limited. Please welcome Manoj Patel. Come on, can we have some noise, please? He is AVP IT Siyaram Silk Mills Limited. Please make some noise for Rishabh Jain. He is Director Global Strategic Industries Retail and Consumer, JAPAC Google. Please welcome Samir Dhingra. And I'm not sure whether he's here, but Vice President and Head IT Kaya Limited, Lokesh Wagadre. Lokesh, are you here? Because we were trying to contact you. Okay, I believe he's on his way, so he will join us. Horrendous Mumbai traffic once again. And ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome our most distinguished and erudite moderator, Dr. Hitesh Bhatt. He's Director Marketing and Communications, Retailers Association of India, and Editorial Director, STOrai. Ladies and gentlemen, over to Dr. Hitesh Bhatt.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Retail Technology Conclave. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, and that is turning insights into actions with advanced analytics. Everybody is talking about, AI, ML, data, and long ago it was already established that data is the new oil. Having said that, how our retailers are using this data, not only in their day-to-day activities, but also to take some strategic decisions. What kind of data interpretation analysis is required, which is critical to the success of retail operations and overall the company and the brand, giving ultimately a seamless experience to the consumer. Keeping all this in mind, today we have got a very, very distinguished panel out here from all, we can say all categories and representations and technologies as well. My first question, I would like to start by giving this example, and this goes to, I can ask anybody because all of them have a beautiful, viewpoint on that, and very soon we'll come to know. Advanced analytics can produce a wealth of insights, but turning those insights into real business action is the hard part. How do each of you interpret the phrase turning insights into action in the retail context, and why is it so critical for success? We can start with Balaji and then, Akash and JP accordingly. Balaji.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Just a quick introduction about Apparel.
Yeah.
So we are a 3 decades old organization. We pioneered Apple retail in the country. So other than Apple, we are premium partners for Bose, Under Armour, ASICS, and now Lego. So we run over 100 plus retail outlets in the country. So that's a quick introduction about Apple. But yeah, coming to the topic on the actionable insights, something very specific that I would want to quote is, while there is always this debate internally, what is the whole journey of the customer? Where does the customer discover us? Where in the entire journey of a customer from discovery to purchase, what are all the touch points? And how can we educate or influence or convince the customer that we are the right place for that customer to either place or the product. This is the right product and this is the right place. While there are a lot of discussions around this, and there are a lot of debates which happen internally. Are we investing in the right place in the entire customer journey? One specific incident and one specific insight that I would want to quote is there was this one of the hyperlocal SEO initiatives that we did, and through that initiatives, when we really saw and when we were able to generate a lot of data, and we were seeing a lot of customers through that hyperlocal initiative, hyperlocal SEO initiative. We saw customers coming to our website, do an abandoned cart, etc. And while we have a very robust system of capturing walk-ins, people who come into the stores, do an inquiry, do a purchase, all of it. One very beautiful insight that we got is that when we looked at all the abandoned carts and when we looked at who walked into our store, who made a purchase, we were able to see that nearly equal number of customers who abandoned the cart on our website also ended up making a purchase in the store. So while a lot of organizations really, when they look at digital, when they look at e-commerce, while everybody understands that today's consumer does a lot of discovery online, I know gets to know about store, product, etc. digitally, but there is no way in which people are able to quantify. And this data, when we were able to pull out, really make a connection between this data, it was a beautiful discovery that while there is X amount of money spent in digital discovery, and today when the P&Ls are created for business, we see, okay, digital spends are X and digital sales are this much, then this is the cost of digital sales. But that's not how it works, because for the consumer it's a omni experience. And when we really looked at this, the way the ROI was looked at completely changed. We said, digital is the way. While customer discovers you, and being very active on local SEO is very, very important. Today you have a lot of floating population also across many locations. So people might not know you as a retailer, but when they really search on Google or any other platforms and you are visible there digitally, I think a lot of discovery happens there. And this completely changed the way we were looking at our digital spends. So this was one incident I wanted to specifically quote. While there is a lot of data lying, today there is access to a lot of data and insights. I think stitching them together and making a lot of sense out of it, and see how it completely pans out in the whole P&L of the business. I think this is one insight that we were able to find out.
Thanks, Balaji. This was, I really like the cart abandonment and the purchase correlation. And this is what the data does. And I would like to know more about it and how how you navigated the whole thing. But before I come to you again, I would like to ask Akash the next question about, fashion retail is very, very fast paced. And customer preferences change, designs, supply chains, all of them are a big challenge. How does your group use advanced analytics like ML, etc., to ensure that you make the right decisions which are very, very efficient and help in getting that customer what he needs?
Good morning, everyone. Just to introduce Apparel Group, we are a 20-plus-year-old organization in India. We have 250-plus stores in India with brands like Aldo, Charles & Keith, Bath & Body Works, Victoria's Secret, etc. Globally, we have 2,500-plus stores. Coming back to Hiteshji's question, how do we use data? I think what data has changed for us is it has given us the equation of what to prioritize rather than what can we do. It is what we do right now. So there are short-term goals versus the long-term goals. And when it comes to Apparel Group, we believe that we have a global customer. So we have learnings from other geographies that we know are a success in those geographies that can be replicated here. While on the other hand side, coming back to Balaji's example, what we have learned in omni-channel is it's the other way around. From digital, people are moving to the offline world. So you know how you can optimize recommendation on the digital platforms. You have your learnings there, and accordingly you plan to implement it offline. While the offline implementation comes, there is a big level of investment that goes into the cultural change. How do you train your staff? How do you interact with the customers in the longer term? How do you optimize the experience for the customers as well so they keep coming back? What this has done is, for us particularly, it has created a difference between bombarding the customer with SMS, WhatsApp, emails, and communicating with them. So once you start communicating, you start focusing on the ROI, which brings back the cross-channel engagement, online versus offline, or say one brand versus the other brand as well. So I think that's how we are managing it.
Thanks, Akash. Manoj, I wanted to ask you, since and a brief introduction about your company as well. In the luggage and travel gear business, demand can be seasonal and sometimes trend driven. And of late, we have seen a lot of new D2C brands, that have taken over the market. That's a different question altogether. But how is Safari Industries, how is the company, using advanced analytics to anticipate customer demand and thus make agile decisions?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Hitesh. So, Safari as an industry, we have got multiple channels, and this multiple channel help us because we get the consolidated data from everywhere. It's maybe from the promoters, then we have e-com channel, we have marketplace, then we have our own retail stores, and so all this data come consolidated. So, referring to your first question over here, is like we collect all this data, and we just don't collect this data, we analyze it, and we get the output over there. We need to know which product is working at which place. So in our particular industry, it's morely dependent on factor is, one is the events, and one is the, seasons, festivals basically. So like, Diwali, and again, it just again depend on the local festivals also, like, like East has something else, North has something else. Events, when I say, so it comes like back to school, which helps us, and marriages, which again helps us. So again, when you ask for the data perspective now, it depends on the marriage, like, particular which month the marriage was and how much time was there. So according to that data goes over there. Then another event which happens is like the children's which goes abroad for studies. So that also becomes event for us. That also helps us in, selling a product. And so all this cumulative data we get, we come to know which is product, which is working well. And accordingly, we plan it. And putting a right product, right color. Size doesn't matter because now size, all the government has fixed the size of the bags, So only matter is the color and the design, the trend which the require, and the new enhancement in terms of putting a laptop bag, giving a charger, giving a handprint lock, these kinds of advanced investments. So collating all the data, which help us, and it helps us, finish our goals, and there is no aged stock. All the stocks also goes up. That way it helps us.
Thanks, Manoj. Rishabh, next question is to you. Siyaram is a legacy brand, How do you ensure being a manufacturing-led brand, and obviously you are into retail as well. How do you merge these two to ensure that you take the right decisions for the customers?
Thank you. So I'll just give some background about the Siyaram. Siyaram is a leading fabric brand, but it's not only the textile. Siyaram house retail divisions also. So earlier we had only the Siyaram store. Now Siyaram has come up with the two new different division. One is fast fashion, G-code stores, and second one is Devo. It's an ethnic brand. So it's a kind of new vertical in the Siyaram. So you are right, like you are asking for the manufacturing. So, we have a separate planning for both the division. Like Siyaram have a separate way of working, and G-code and Devo have a separate way of working. So we are collating a data from each and every place. Like for the if I talk about the supply chain, we are just finding out the all the trend, what are the trends are running in the market, with the multiple sites are there, who are providing a future trend. So getting a data from that, then through we are with the help of AI finding out the future trend, how it will become it's trending, colors and type of the garments. These things we are just finding out. And then based on that, we are planning for the next season and accordingly we are releasing order to the vendor, and we are delivering to the stores also. And this is helping us to provide the right stock at the right place on the right time. And data is available in other format also, like for the, we are getting a data for the footfall also, we are getting a data for the from the CRM also. So we are analyzing a customer trend also. Okay, example, who are my customer, what is the visit pattern, how many times he is not visiting. Because this is for the Gen Z brand, we are running in a very value, it's a value brand. So we are analyzing all this data, and based on that we are just targeting the customers also, and we are reaching to the direct customer, and we are approaching them with some promotions, coupons and all, and then for the increasing the footfall at the store.
Thanks, Rishabh. Before I come to Samir, I would like to ask JP. JP from Newland, AIDC. JP, if you can introduce Newland. Also, you work with various retailers. How does your company create an impact in their decision making? Through your products and services.
Thanks, Dr. Hitesh, and good morning, everyone. So a quick introduction for Newland. So we are a global player, in fact, a global manufacturer for barcode scanners, mobile printers, RFID devices, and barcode mobile computers. So in India, we are serving almost more than 3,000 customers, including retail, logistics, quick commerce, and everyone. Coming back to the topic, today's topic, that how the insights can be actionable, right? So just wanted to give two major points here. One, first point is that how, the reports you are getting is, any analyticals, but analytics is something which really helps different company to grow your business. So this data analytics is doesn't start from report. It starts from the data capture. The first time when you capture the data, and you need to make sure the data you are capturing should be 100% accurate. Otherwise, whatever analyticals you will do, all the analyticals will not going to help you in a better way. So getting the right data instantly, fastly, and accurately is the most important thing to grow any business. To make your data analyticals more and more better. Just giving an example. For example, your system can say that the stock is getting, the stock level is decreasing, or it is getting, the stock level is low. But our device will tell your field on-field staff that now it is the time for replenishment of the stock. So that's how we create a very impactful, a very important our devices are very small. It's a very small part of your business, but it's really created a lot of impact to giving the right data at the right speed. Without those kind of data, the analyticals is not possible. Thank you.
Data capture, I think, very important. It's not about data. Data also, whatever you have got, is it 100% or not? And that's where many times, people like JP and his team and others come into the picture, that he used the word data capture. So if we capture, so it's like Gigo or whatever you want to say, whatever you have, you'll analyze on that only. So trying to ensure that you capture 100% or towards 100% is where the endeavor should be, and most of you guys do it. But that was a very, very important part, the capturing data at the source. Now my question to Samir is, thanks first of all, Samir, to fly from Singapore. Appreciate you joining ReTechCon 2025. You work with many retailers, Samir, and you have been with them on their analytics journey. From a broad industry perspective, what do you see are the key factors, that enable a retail organization to turn analytics into actionable insights? This will be the first question, and then I will take it ahead from there. Over to you, Samir.
Thanks, Hitesh, and good morning to everybody, and good morning to my fellow panelists. As Hitesh mentioned, I have the fortune of working with many retailers and brands across Asia on their data and AI journey. And I think we consistently see a few things emerging on successful implementations and successful endeavors. I think let's first talk about technology. So first and foremost, where we see success are organizations who have been successful in bringing all the data sources together. So it's pretty simple. It's not rocket science, but how do you build a unified data capability, remove the silos, ensure that all your data from your transaction, your supply chain, your customer is coming together somewhere in a central place. And I think that's the first success angle that we see consistently. And linked with that is the ability of those organizations to build real-time data pipelines. So if you are able to do these two, then that sort of sums up your technology angle and technology factor for success. But technology doesn't only drive successful implementations from analytics to insights. And I think the biggest one that we are seeing is the ability of the senior leadership to really mandate and sponsor these projects. So wherever we have seen the CEOs standing up and saying that this is this is a priority for the organization, when they are building strategies which are backed by data and which needs data to execute, and the organization understands why it is important, those are the organizations which suddenly go on to a hyperspeed with respect to implementation and successful execution. But this is also not enough. We have seen organizations where CEOs mandate, but it doesn't trickle down. So how do you do data democratization? That becomes like a very critical element. Because if you do the data platform, if the CEO says this is important, but if your tools are not intuitive, and if your users are not able to use it, then it is a problem again. So, that again, it's a third sort of pillar in my mind, that you do everything else, but ensure that you are building intuitive user tools so that people are able to consume that insight that you are generating. And I think last but not the least, a very, very critical element of successful implementation, and I've seen multiple examples, is that you do everything, but you forget about adoption. So as a result of which, you may have the best platform, or you may have the best tools, but if you're not encouraging or training or upskilling or creating transparency across your tools and technology, the associates and the colleagues and the frontline workers will not adopt it. And if they are not seeing an impact, they will not adopt it, and it will fall flat. So, which is usually the case with multiple technologies that we see in our respective organizations, whether these are platforms or analytical tools. So I think generally it's not about technology only. You have to have technology, you have to have executive sponsorship, you have to democratize the tools, and most importantly, you have to also encourage your associates to adopt.
I think these are very important points to consider while implementing this. But Samir, can you share anonymously any example, of how a retailer may have, used analytics to change his operations or customer experience or any part of his business?
Yeah, I can give examples, and I won't name, but they are. So I'm giving you examples with respect to large matrix organizations. I think when you are in a smaller organization, it is still much more controllable and manageable, because you can dictate. If the CEO of a 500 people organization or a 200 people organization and a founder says this is what you want to do, the organization will rally. But when you have 5,000 people or 20,000 people or 10,000 people and you have, 5 different category heads and 4 different presidents and 3 different co-CEOs, then you are in a fight because the CEO or the group president do not want to mandate because they want to get into a scenario that everybody find their own solution and you work together and so on and so forth. And the minute it starts happening, the chief customer officer might stand up and say that, I want to build a loyalty engine and engagement platform and I will build a data platform. But the chief e-commerce officer will say, no, I will build a data platform. So, I've seen many of these and it just repeats every time you engage a large organization where the different presidents and industry leads within the organization, they fight as to who controls the data. And a good example of successful implementation I have recently seen is when the group CEO finally says, okay, this is the mandate. All of you come together and we build a cross-BU collaboration and a cross-BU combined KPIs. And then they sort of do it. And the minute you build that data foundation, then everything falls into place. You can build use cases within the store environment. You can do contextual marketing programs. You can do search and discovery online. You can do a rewards program, a returns program, a promotion at the time of transaction and so on and so forth. Because you have a combination of customer transactions and supply chain and inventory data along with you at one place. So I think, and it is not just one customer. You take any customer, typically this is a similar story.
Thanks, Samir. The last point or the point about organization, and that's where my question is, which is very critical, is about strategy, culture, and change. Because what Samir just mentioned, he gave a classic example of a very large metrics organization, but even in a smaller organizations, those kind of impediments are seen. So my question next to the others also, will start with Akash or Balaji, is how important it is, from a cultural perspective to implement these changes, and what has been key in building an analytics-driven culture. Because today retail is moving more towards less of retail and more of digital analytics, data, that driven supply chain, everything runs on that. So how important the cultural change is required for an organization to implement advanced analytics. You can start. Yeah.
While I'll come to that point, I wanted to add to the earlier discussion what was happening about actual use case of insights. So something that I thought I wanted to share with everyone. So there's a live example of one of the quick commerce partners, how they are using analytics to control discounts, control the freshness of their product, and improve sales. So one of the quick commerce partners, especially, they were facing a challenge, especially for bread. Bread being a short shelf life and has a very limited time in the market as well. It's only between 6 to 9 in the morning. After that, there is no market for bread. So there is about 3 to 3.5 hours in a day that bread has market. And after that, the product expiry date is, or the shelf life is reducing by one more day. So this was very interesting. What they did is, they used good scraping tools and they were looking at the other, so at a pin code level, they implemented in terms of what are the other quick commerce partner, which are the brands that they are promoting, what is the pricing, and their out of stock situations during this period. And they built a model wherein every half an hour, they could change the pricing of the product depending on what is the price at which the other quick commerce partner were selling and what is out of stock with them. So this helped them immediately, in that 3 hours gap, they were able to, refine and improve their pricing and offering and decide when to boost the visibility of the product as well. So it helped them when the competitors were out of stock, when they were not able to service in certain area. That was the time when they were able to push visibility for especially bread and also reduce the discounts they were passing on to the customer. Even they even charged an extra delivery fee and were still able to liquidate their inventory, keep it fresh, and also get a lot of sales.
Good point, Balaji. In fact, we'll come to the culture part now that you have, started this topic. Because there are plenty of topics to cover. That's all. That's the reason I was going to the next one. But how important is pricing and data in terms of dynamic pricing? Many of you, like Balaji, you are doing some dynamic pricing. Everybody must be doing it. So how important it is in your case, especially the retailers?
I think it is one of the utmost important attributes that you can control with the customer, because it directly affects your conversions, be it the online world, be it the offline world, and it also affects your profitability as well. So you need to identify the sweet spot where you are able to attract the customer as well as manage the business for yourself, and look at, in future as well, getting the customer back, establishing a price point at the top of his mind. So I think that is very important.
Like Balaji mentioned, do your brands have those sweet spots? You can share with us. We'll go online and get that. I mean, what I'm trying to say is bread was a classic example, but we were discussing yesterday also about certain 1 hour window, in a day. And that's where the prices are completely different. So I thought for the audience who is sitting here, Under Armour t-shirts or apparel or bags or Siyaram suits, if we could know something like that, then we'll be on the site at that time. So that in a lighter way, but I hope you got the point.
Of course, if you look at our brands, we have overnight sales, flash sales going on for different brands such as Victoria's Secret, Aldo. In fact, when we have pre-buzz launches, so a new collection launch is, you have a pre-buzz where customers can come and register for that particular launch 24 hours prior, and accordingly they get customized offers or early access to that particular launch. So that is being done for customers across the board. Of course,
What is the reason or the decision, how you take this decision, on what basis?
so it's on the past shopping patterns, the engagement from the customer as well. So a very relevant example is, and coming back to Balaji's point, that a customer has maybe abandoned cart 3 times in the past.
Yeah.
Right. So I know definitely this customer is interested in something or the other. It's just that I haven't been able to score that customer yet. So then it becomes a particular point that I make it visible to him that if I'm having a next launch, he feels engaged with the brand and basically gets excited about the new launch. That's where we need to target that particular customer. Their emotions and, getting them onto the brand story particularly.
All this requires data and analytics. Somebody has to do that. And thus, Balaji and, Rishabh will be in a position to take that call, and all of us. Manoj, your views on this, and then I'll come to Akash.
Basically, we don't have this like a hourly sale or 1 day sale kind of thing, which you said on the lighter note. But it's morely depend on the segment, which segment we are targeting. So if you ask me now, for example, the Amazon and Flipkart sale is happening. So Amazon and Flipkart sale is happening. So there the discount goes. Then there is a niche market. So it again depends where the product is going in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Accordingly, the price plays an important role in that particular way. And that's the way. And all this comes, all the collection of the data which we have and the past history what we have. On that basis, the decision is taken and the pricing is given offer to them.
Sure. I'll ask Rishabh.
So it's purely basically based on the past pattern, past data we are analyzing, and based on we are seeing how based on the price change, what are the impacts are there. On based on that impact, we are taking a decision for the further changing a price and providing a discounts on the maybe online or maybe offline stores. And again, in case of fast fashion, the moment we have a targeted days of the inventory. Then the moment inventory days are exceeded, then we have to take a call, liquidate that. And this is again criteria for changing a price or discount and all.
Okay. JP, this question is for you. Given your experience in scaling a hardware embedded system business with global operations, what has been the biggest challenge, you have faced in maintaining this kind of quality, supply chain robustness, etc.? You can give me one example and how you overcame it.
So again, considering this topic, actually, the biggest challenge is again getting the right data. Getting the right data is one, and getting the accurate data is the another thing. So everything depends, starting from your supply chain to inventory management to replacement of the stocks, counting of the inventory. Just giving example. For example, let's take example of a quick commerce company. How this kind of analytics is helping him with this kind of hardware. So just giving one of our biggest customer example, like Swiggy, Zomato, Blinkit. Okay, so for them, pricing is not the primary thing. Again, it is the stock and inventory management, real-time tracking of the inventory, considering the demography, where they are exactly their dark store is placed, whether it is placed in a cluster where the requirement for specific product is very high, and that stock replacement is immediately required. That is more important, and that cannot be possible with the right analysis of data. And again, right analysis cannot be done without this kind of hardware, which need to be inverted in the stock, need to be inverted, or the right source of the data and right data capturing is really helpful in getting this, increasing the operational efficiency for those kind of stores. Another example, especially for apparel store, is like RFID. RFID is kind of a hardware which normally, helps to track your, kind of apparel starting from the manufacturing. So whenever you start the manufacturing of this particular product, you can track end-to-end to the sale with the help of RFID devices. And this is how I think, clearly hardwares are, kind of the insights cannot be possible without a, advanced data capturing machine. I mean, if the data capture is correct, then I think the insights will be again helpful for those kind of analytics.
Thanks, JP. Samir, my next question is to you. Looking forward, what emerging technologies, or trends or advanced analytics do you believe will impact the retailers the most in the coming years?
Yeah, I think, there is no rocket science in this question. We have been hearing this since yesterday and everywhere else also. So, of course, the top of the mind,
Yes.
what has really transformed is everything and anything to do with AI. So, starting with generative AI, and I think, what is really transforming retail and commerce is the conversational capabilities and the ability to interact, intuitively. And I think now, with the last 6-8 months, there's a lot of, news around agentic AI and how the workflows are getting automated. So I think that's the second element, because generative AI is now people are getting used to in terms of interactions and in terms of conversations. And now the focus is shifting towards how do you digitize the workflows and automate the workflows so that it becomes, you can sort of build a layer of a system of action on top of the system of insight on top of the system of record. I think beyond these two, the other implication which we will begin to see more and more often, and the panelists were just talking about in terms of dynamic pricing and real time, is the ability for retailers to offer real-time capabilities within the store and outside the store environments on digital platforms or in-store execution. And as edge AI becomes more proliferant, as technology becomes cheaper, faster, lighter, you will see platforms within the store environment or handheld devices or in-store devices to be able to offer those real-time use cases, whether it is pricing, contextual marketing, on-the-spot promotions as somebody is walking by, and so on and so forth. And I think last but not the least, it is not yet mainstream discussion But I think as all the previous three elements as AI becomes a little bit more pervasive, everybody will begin to start focusing on more and more how to build a more responsible AI. And, data security, data privacy will become more important. And it is becoming more important, although it is not front and center in people's mind as of now. But at the same time, organizations will need to think very, very hard how to build ethical AI or have ethical AI practices, how to ensure that you avoid bias in your systems and platforms, and build, as I've mentioned, a more responsible AI. Because if you have responsible AI, then it will build trust, and if you have trust, it will build engagement, loyalty, and you will have retention. So I think that's how basically we see this moving forward. Of course, what you're seeing right now is everything around generative and agentic AI. But where this is is how the AI platforms become a little bit more, responsible, secure, and more personalized.
Apt. I think conversational capabilities and intuitiveness are extremely important parameters for the success of AI, and no doubt data security. We had a session also yesterday on data security, and everything now is data digital. So and the norms also, the rules also coming on data privacy, data security are going to try to ensure that the customer is secured in terms of his data. My final question to all the other panelists would be two questions. What are the major impediments for you to implement analytics in your organization in this context of AI? And what are the one or two trends that you see? So if you can give the answer in one or two sentences each, then it will be easier. We can wrap up in time. So what are the major impediments, Balaji? And what are the trends that you see? These are the two questions.
I think the major impediments is actually getting all the data in one place and trying to make more sense, stitch them together, and for people of different functions, how can they analyze this data, and how do they really take those actionable insights out of this data, for which all this data needs to come together, because there are multiple channels, multiple places from where this data is getting collected today. But I think it's like one of the panelists was mentioning, it's all in silos. It needs to be stitched and brought together. I think that's one of the major challenges. In terms of trend, I think everybody is looking at having those insightful and useful dashboards. While all this data is together, do we really have dashboards where this can be made accessible quickly, and if it can throw out a lot of insights, with which right insights, and how agile it is, how quickly can the data be sliced and diced and made and get meaningful insights to take those quick actions. I think this is where I see a major trend coming.
Thanks. Thank you. Over to you, Rishabh.
So basically, we need to combine all the data in the one place and integrate all the data. So and provide the one platform to the end user, at least at the last mile, at the store manager level. He can ask their respective queries. He will get the answer, and system can provide the some insight based on the data in advance. So instead of waiting for the next, they can take action immediately, and they can plan their execution on the same time.
Thank you. Akash.
Yeah, there's no denying the fact that data is one of the most important aspects of business now. And adding on to Sameer's point, so the biggest impediment then becomes that a CEO's mandate versus the management's mandate and the actual practice. It's not an overnight journey. The decision can be overnight, and sooner or later, seeing the importance of data, every CEO will eventually pass on that mandate. Bringing it in practice establishing milestones in terms of the, say, 6-month milestone, 2-year milestones, etc., is utmost important. I think in terms of trends, what I see, not just in retail, but across industries and businesses, is that centralizing the analytics and the data capabilities, of course, adding on to the dashboards, etc., making them more relevant across multiple brands, categories, etc., and then having a centralized communication strategy. I think that I see emerging across each and every player who wants to stay relevant.
Manoj.
So it's the same point what everybody said, all the development said. It's like more of a consolidation of data, bringing everything in centrally, and having a common dashboard, and having cross-department using the same dashboard, so everybody speaks on the same figure, and and having over and about having an AI which gives you predictive analysis and taking the business ahead.
JP.
So I think first point is almost same for everybody will agree with the first point. So I'll not speak about the first point. So trend I have seen, being a tech enabler, we are more, try to follow the trend so that we can give our advanced data capturing machines. So two trends I have seen in retail industry, especially the tech adoption is getting higher and higher. It is like, everybody want to get a real-time data, because it is not about now, the retail industry is not only confined to price and some geographic. It is more of a now, with the introduction of e-commerce and quick commerce kind of company, it is more of a getting into reaching to each and every customer. So if you are reaching to a biggest mass, that means you need more advanced tool to analyze your data. And again, it is not only you offer a discount or price, it is about the availability of the material also. So for availability of the material, that too, for a, kind of a, you analyze your data by segment wise, different kind of segment, different kind of city, different kind of demography, and then you can push the data according to your each location. So that is more important, and for that I think the trend, everybody has to enable them technically to get these advanced tools. Maybe it is AIML or some other advanced. AIML obviously is the most important part to analyze these things, but adoption of new technology is something which is really, because I am in this industry since last 20 years. In last 4 or 5 years, I have seen that tech adoption is getting higher and higher each and every time for retail industry especially.
Samir, final word from you. What should retailers be doing to turn these actionable insights into actionable insights, and then ensuring that they come out well or smoothly with the transformation of AI or analytics or technology that we are talking about? Because as you must have heard, our panelists have spoken about impediments like data at one place, privacy, etc. So how should retailers prepare, according to you, in the Indian context?
So I think, so first of all, fantastic discussion. And I think if you were to take a step back and, distill out what everybody is saying, you can't miss the fact that to be able to turn analytics into insight, you have to go back to basics. You have to build the basics. And there is no shortcut to having, a stronger data foundation in terms of at least building a unification of the data models. There is no shortcut to ensuring that you have democratization and adoption. So I think these are very, very important. I think if they fall in place, then all the other elements around AI, Gen AI, all the intuitive use cases, they fall in place. I think the second thing that I would like to just mention is that it is very important to integrate your insights into your operational workflows. If the insights are not creating any impact, then they are just trivia. So, it doesn't really matter. They are just dashboards. So just, look at that, and around culture, it is very important to experiment. So don't be afraid of experimentation with all the stuff which is happening in AI. Don't wait and watch and have 1,000 people first implement and then you will do it. But I think the way to do it is that you focus and prioritize on the use cases which are going to give you the biggest impact. And what gives one person the biggest impact may not give you the biggest impact. So don't worry about what the other person is doing. You see what makes sense for you. And I think the last thing I would say is that in all this rigmarole of AI and models and data and so on and so forth, don't worry about all that stuff. This race is not about models. This is about platforms and about foundations. And it is a very long journey. We have just started. So, the race has just started, and I think you are all in time. So, as long as you focus on foundations, you'll be okay.
Well said, Samir. The race has just started and it is all about platforms and foundations. With this, anybody, I would request if anybody has any questions to be asked, we just have about 2 minutes before we close the panel. So I had kept this for the audience in case anybody has any questions. Anyone? I think we are the best teachers. No, it's just that no questions means I think it has gone down well. You go, I will give it to you. But thank you very much, panelists. This was a fantastic, it was a very, very intense kind of discussion because over the 2 days we have been talking about it, but this is where the whole crux is. How do we turn insights into action, with advanced analytics? And all of us must have used AI. If I'll ask my team to analyze the video or the videos over the 2 days, every panel has used this word n number of times. This itself shows the importance of the subject and where all our esteemed panelists have spoken the impediments in implementing this as well as the trends going forward. Thank you again, all of you, for sharing your insights. It was wonderful to have you today at ReTechCon 2025.